formerly known as the Gilbert Islands, when we landed on Kiribati, I could see that the challenges we saw on Tuvalu was multiplied tenfold on Kiribati. The population was 110,000 people spread across 33 islands, with about 60% of people living on the main island of Tarawa, putting pressure on meagre resources. There was limited space and saltwater intrusion made farming impossible.
We're on the causeway on South Tarawa, Kiribati, which connects Tene Nano and Brazil. What you see here is several tons of sacks of sand and coral, and sands that are forming a seawall and try to fix what was broken as a result of Cyclone Pam last year.
About 10 of the 33 islands of Kiribati were no longer viable and uninhabitable. People from these outer islands were forced to migrate and squatted on South Tarawa, where there was no sanitation and no clean drinking water. They had no choice but to leave their home island. Here there is limited space, but where else can they go?
Yeah, I just feel that, with our government, I've seen our government has done a lot of work in the last few years. We built good roads, we built wharf, we're working on the terminal, renovating schools. But the community need to stand up and do something for themselves.
So we spent Easter Saturday cleaning up the Bairiki Square. Globalization and having people dependent on food products from overseas has created additional problems with waste, with lots of plastic packaging, tin cans, waste that is not biodegradable.
So we're here on Tarawa, the main island of Kiribati, and this morning we've joined up with Kiribati Climate Action Network of community organisations who are growing mangroves. Mangroves form a seawall, a protective seawall against constant erosion, and allows for marine life to flourish. I had to laugh when they told me how important it was for them to do this work, because in New Zealand some communities want to get rid of mangroves. And in many ways that shows how in New Zealand we take for granted that we've got so much land, that we're not worried about the natural mangroves protecting our coastal lines.
The islands are so small there is insufficient space for landfills. And it's not just solid waste, it's also liquid and harmful chemicals and medical waste that requires proper incineration.
So I'm in front of the Kiribati Parliament building, and there is a newly elected president, and they are busy formulating their cabinet and looking to release a budget. We don't know what his stance will be on climate change. We hear that he will be more internally focused on the welfare of the people of Kiribati. But I will be meeting with the leader of the opposition, Sir Jeremiah Tapai, who was also the first president of Kiribati.
If the worst comes to the worst, then we expect our neighbors, which we call our friends, to be more sympathetic and be able to do the decent thing and recognize that we got a real problem and, yes, accept them into the New Zealand.
Everywhere we went, the message is the same. People don't want to lose their identity.
The land for us, I think, it's very important because this is where our ancestors buried, and this is where we grow our food. We've been raised in this holy ground here in Kiribati, so it's important that we really stay put in it and look after it well.
It was important for me to hear the voices of the young people of Kiribati. More than 200 from a number of churches met with me at Moroni High School. They wanted education, jobs, their right to language, culture and their lands. But they are living and breathing climate change every day, and it's constant and unrelenting.
Truly, we really love to stay here. But if worse comes to worse, then I think we might as well leave but we don't want that to come to the end. We don't want to leave our country because we love being here.
If it is going to happen, I will probably leave Kiribati.
Even if it means losing your culture?
I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to lose my culture. I don't want to lose my own language, my mother tongue. But I want to remain who I am.
The reason why I want to stay in Kiribati is because I was born in Kiribati and I really love the culture and everything else. I think it is peaceful for me and my family. Yeah, I think that's the reason why I love the culture.
Migration is the last resort, they said, and if they do go overseas, they want their homelands protected for when they return.
So we're leaving Kiribati for New Zealand this morning, and my heart goes out to the people because they are having to try and cope and adapt their lives to climate change. And it isn't just the rising seawater levels, the seasons are also changing. It's becoming hotter, drier and wetter. In this case, they've had rain for almost 2 years, whilst an hour away, the Marshall Islands are experiencing drought. The people of Kiribati can't fight climate change on their own. The polluters have to stop polluting, and the international community had to come and support Kiribati survive.